Hi everyone, welcome to Solar Integrations. If you haven't been here before, this channel focuses on Home Assistant and your solar inverter integrations and bringing the power of Home Assistant to your solar inverter. Today's video is all about dashboards. It's an introductory video for more novice users as to the things you can do with your dashboard, how to set them up. I have split out some cards for you guys to use, which I think you're going to find quite handy and quite useful. And I've tried to make it as easy as possible for everybody. If you do have any questions, please post in comments or on the Power Forum. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do like it and find it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. First thing I'd like to do is just apologize about how long it's taken to get this video out. I know a lot of you guys have been doing the integrations to get the information from your inverter into Home Assistant, have been waiting for this video. So I appreciate your patience and let's get on with it. Dashboards in Home Assistant are one of the most powerful features of Home Assistant, being able to customize your dashboard and bring in data from multiple sources into one view makes it very useful, and there are almost no limits as to what you can do in your dashboards. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. If you do have any questions or you're running into any problems, please let me know in comments and I'll do my best to help you as best I can. We're going to be using a dashboard that SlipX06 created as a base for today's video. He's created a dashboard with some really nice views in it. You can see this dashboard, these are all individual cards. Okay, so he's got 5 cards across. It's a really nice setup. It, however, is not going to suit everybody because he's got things like his pool on it, his geyser energy consumption. So what I want to do is give you the tools to be able to customize it to suit your own requirements. I have broken up this card, this dashboard into each individual card, and I'm going to be uploading the YAML code for each of those cards to a Dropbox so that you'll be able to download the YAML for each card. You can decide which card you want to install on your dashboard and how you want to position it, and I'm going to be going over some of the ways that you can do that. And what I would encourage you to do is to get onto the Power Forum and to ask questions over there. Or if you've got comments or suggestions, please leave them underneath the video. So the first thing we're going to do before we get started is do a backup of our system so that we have a fallback in case we have a problem. So settings, system, backups, create a full backup of your system. So once we've got our backup done, we're going to go to the SlipX's Sunsynk Home Assistant Dash. If you haven't seen my previous video on the Power Flow card, you maybe want to go there now. I'll put a link through to that. That gives you how to install these great dashboards. These great cards. They're really cool cards, and that we're going to use that as part of our dashboard. So you might want to do that first. What I want you to do is go to his complete dashboard that he's put together. There are a number of add-ons which we're going to need to add for the cards so that we can display these horseshoe cards and these charts that he's got, and the Apex cards, which I think are these ones. You also need to have the load shedding integration installed, which I've also done a video on. I'll put a link to that. And also Solcast, which is a slightly more advanced solar energy forecaster for Home Assistant. It's got a bit more options in it than the standard built-in one. So that I've also got videos on how to do those. So if you haven't seen them, maybe go back to my channel and just have a look for those videos. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is install these into HACS. What I'm just going to do, let's just go over here. We're going to go down to HACS. We're going to go to front end and we're going to install these over here. The first one we want is the flexible horseshoe card. Install that. Download. You can have a look through the GitHub page on that. Goes through a lot of the customizations that you can do in it. It's a very nice add-on. You might want to use it for other things as well. We then want to install the Sunsynk PowerFlow card, which we should have already. There's the layout card. So we're going to search for layout. The layout card is the card which takes over the control of each of the individual cards on the screen. It's very powerful. I'm not going to be going in depth into that. It's probably not going to work for most of you off the bat because you're going to want to customize it with your own cards. So I'm going to include that in what we're downloading, but I couldn't get it to work as a standard install. So that's one of the reasons why this video has taken so long, because I've been trying to figure it out. We also want to put in Plotly graph card and then Apex charts card as well. Once that's done, okay. Apex charts. So these are all add-ins for Home Assistant written by other contributors, and they allow added display abilities and that type of thing. We just want to check that we've got the in integrations, that we've got the load shedding integration and the Solcast integration. I don't have the Solcast integration in this instance, so I'm just going to install that now. Okay, so I've got Solcast installed. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to import the code for SlipX06's dashboard into my Home Assistant. The first thing I'm going to want to do is just create a new dashboard. Let's call it SlipX. Okay, I'm going to import that. If we have a look, it'll now appear on the side of here. And I want to take control of this dashboard. So I'm going to go edit dash, and I want to start with an empty dashboard. As default, Home Assistant will create a dashboard. It'll populate your dashboard with all the entities on it that it has available. And it'll just keep on adding any new entities you add onto it. So when you take control of it, it stops doing that. We want to start with an empty dashboard, so let's just take control of that. Now what I want to do is just go to SlipX's home, the Sunsynk Home Assistant Dash. I'm going to put a link in for that for you. Go to dashboard.yaml, okay, and just copy all of that code. And we want to change this from masonry to single card, and save that. And then in this view, go down to the bottom to YAML code and add all of that YAML code in, save it, and what you'll notice is we have one card here. It doesn't display anything. And the reason for that is I am not sure. It's got something to do with the way that these grid template rows are set up by SlipX. I've been trying to figure it out. I can't. So what you'll notice over here is that in here, these are all the cards which are making up his dashboard. He's got 17 cards, and those are these cards on his screen over here. So if you have a look, he's got 17 cards in total. And what I've done is I've taken all these cards individually and I've split them up into their each individual code, and I've uploaded those through to a Dropbox. I'll put a link in the show description. You can download each of these cards. I've put a description in for each one, and I've made it as easy to understand as possible. If you want to, you can also get the code from over here on each one of these, and it will, you'll be able to import that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that we've got SlipX 06's page here, which we can't see anything of, I'm just going to create another page, another dashboard. Let's just call it desktop. Okay. I'm not putting an icon in or anything. Let's go into the desktop dash. Oops. Let's go over here. Desktop. Okay. I want to take control of it, and then I want to show you guys how we're going to configure these cards and what some of the options are. Okay, so I quite like these solar cards. So the horseshoe cards. So the first thing I'm going to do is, if I have a look here, there's the battery card, there's a grid card, and there's a solar card as well. So I'm just going to open up the code for all three of those because it makes life easier. Okay, so I don't want the cards moving around. I want those three cards stuck next to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a, when I add them, I'm going to add them as a horizontal stack, which you'll see what that means. The first card, I want to bring in the YAML code like that. Let me go back here. That's card number 3. There's card number 1. I'm going to copy all of that code and I'm going to paste it in over here like that. Okay. That's my first card. Now my second card. Let's bring in this one like that. Want to add it all as YAML code again. There, it's added that in. Okay. And now my third card. That one. Copy all that code. Go down over here and paste all of that in. Now, if you are using, let's see, you can see that that's all over there. Looks quite small. If I change this and I change this view, that's masonry, so it's going to stack it across as bricks. If I change that to a sidebar, you're going to see that's going to make them much bigger, and then I can just add my cards in underneath here as I want. Okay, so these are all the cards that I've uploaded now, and I've taken all of these cards and I've imported them into the Home Assistant. There's the daily graph totals, so you'll see in the that's called daily graph totals. Daily production, there's the donut graphs. If you have a look through all of these, I'll include the link to where all of these are stored. There's a daily totals card, which will give you your totals for the last, I think it's 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 5 days totals. And that's your solar production, your load, grid import, battery discharge, and battery charge. So it gives you all of those totals, which is quite nice. Monthly production, it's not populating these at the moment because it doesn't have enough stuff in the database for this version of Home Assistant that I've got running, and I've restored backups and that type of thing, so it's not 100% up to date with all the data. This is the solar forecast graph, which shows you what the forecast is for the next few days. This is busy updating, and it'll show you what your actual production is versus your forecast production. This is your current battery state of charge. I don't think I've got all these sensors connected either. Monthly production. So you've got a monthly chart, and then this is a Sonoff energy usage chart, which is handy if you're using Sonoff switches. There's also one for 2-year switches. So I hope that's given you a good overview of the SlipX06 cards that he's got available. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you guys is how to bring in data from our other integrations into Home Assistant. The one which I would like to bring into this one is these controls for controlling our battery settings, and then also for setting our grid charge settings. And I just want to show you guys something that I've picked up on that stuff. So if I click on add to dashboard and I tell it I want to add it onto the desktop over there, that's going to add that onto the desktop dashboard. And I want to add this one as well. Okay, so they're both added onto that desktop dashboard now. If I go to the bottom here, I will see both of them. What I might want to do is add them both onto onto their own card, so I can put a vertical card or a horizontal card and copy the code over both of those. What I have noticed is that if you click on these over here, these are the entities. So these are my time periods. Normally they'll all appear as SOC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what will happen is if you click on the time zone, on the entity itself, you can change the name at the top here, and that will then appear across all your dashboards. So you can either change it over here, so we can set it over here. That one's number 1, so that one I want at the top, and that's number 2. So this one, for example, if I change it over here, and I say this is from 000 to 050. Okay, there you'll see it changes the name in the over there, or I can change it over here as well. I can go 05 to 09, and that changes it in the entity as well. So then it keeps that name across all instances in all of the dashboards. If I want to delete something, I can go and I can either delete it over here, I can delete it on the visual side, or I can delete it in the code as well. I'll just be able to delete the entity over there. So I hope that helps you guys adding your switches and that stuff in. As I said, this is just a very basic way of getting it going. There is a lot of things that you can do. I'd encourage you to look at the mushrooms buttons and that stuff. and get on to the powerforum.co.za and share your dashboards there. I'm sure everybody will appreciate it. New ideas are always good. And please remember to like and subscribe. And what I will be doing these settings over here are for the ESP32. I want to do one for the Sunsynk and the Solarman integrations as well, to see if we can work out how to get it so we can change those inverter settings from them. I have noticed that the Solarman integration doesn't give you that ability as standard. I'm sure that's just changing some of the values on the integration. So I'll see if I can work that out and maybe do a video for you guys on that if you're keen. Please let me know any other video suggestions you've got, and we'll see you later.